Hey there, lovely people. Welcome to Be Your Best You with Tash and Becky, your go-to hangout for all things spiritual, subconscious, and downright magical. We're here to sprinkle a little mystical wisdom into your everyday life and help you level up your reality.
Picture this as your cosmic coffee date, where we chat about the unseen world, blend in some psychology vibes and stir up the subconscious magic. Get ready to be the queen of your own reality, live a life that lights you up and have a blast doing it.
So grab your latte or your tea and let's dive into another episode of Be Your Best You, where the mystical meets the mundane and your best life awaits.
Cheers to creating magic together.
Let's do this. Hi, lovely people.
Hi.
We just wanted to pop on before we get started on our episode to ask you if you would mind, if you haven't done so already, please could you rate and review our podcast. If you're not already, could you make sure that you're following us on Spotify, Apple, or any podcast player that you listen to us on, so you can make sure that you get notified every week when a new episode comes out. You never know when you might need to hear it. It could be perfect timing. And also, don't forget, you can watch us on YouTube as well. And if you watch us over there, don't forget to subscribe. Again, you'll get notified with all the new and latest episodes.
And also, don't forget to share with all your friends.
Thank you so much, guys. We really appreciate all your support. We appreciate you listening to us every week. Thank you so much.
You.
Hi, welcome back to another episode of Be Your Best You with Tash
And Becky, the guest edition.
And today we have on the show the amazing, hilarious, funny, lovely Sian Colson.
Oh, we love Sian.
She's the owner of
ObSkincare,
which is a skincare company that it's sustainable, it's organic, it's biodegradable, and it's vegan. She's doing her thing to help the planet and help us not have all the nasty chemicals and microplastics and endocrine disruptors on our beautiful skin.
Precious skin.
But honestly, this conversation is so uplifting, so empowering. Sian shares her story and the challenges that she faced in getting to where she is now. And it's just like, it's an inspiration for everyone. And she just demonstrates how your mindset and a little sprinkling of kind of the spirituality, trusting the universe, unseen help can really get you to a place in your life that you didn't think that you would be in, and get you stepping into your soul's purpose and doing what you love. It's such an uplifting, empowering episode, isn't it? So we hope you enjoy, guys. Today we have on the show the lovely Sian Colson. Sian, welcome to Be Your Best You. Thank you for coming on.
Oh, thank you for asking me, Tash and Becky. It's an absolute honour.
Oh, okay, so before we dive into your amazing story and how you got to where you are now, could you just tell everyone just a little bit about who you are, kind of what you do now, and then we'll dig into how you got here.
Yeah, no problem. I'm Sian Louise Colson. I'm the founder of ObSkincare, which stands for Organic, Biodegradable, Vegan, Sustainable. And I like to think, an accidental entrepreneur.
I love that. Amazing. And we're so excited to bring you on the podcast, because we were just saying before we press record, weren't we? We know you guys listening are always looking for kind of new ways of using products, household products, skincare products, all the things that haven't got all the nasty toxic stuff in there and it's friendly to the planet. So you're going to be right up their street, Sian. But I know that you went through quite a lot of challenges to get to where you are. I love that you say you're an accidental entrepreneur. That's just brilliant. And I know there's been some things that's kind of brought you here, and we really would love to hear your story. It's going to be a first for us as well, because we don't know, do we? So I think I would love to hear how you got here and what brought you here and the challenges you had to face.
Sure. Well, I guess my story started a few years ago when I was doing IVF. Now, the doctors couldn't find anything wrong with neither me or my husband, so it was really frustrating. But we decided, let's go down the IVF route. And when you're going through IVF, I don't know if any of your listeners have, you want to be the most healthiest version of yourself. So you're looking at not just what you're eating, but what you're putting on your skin, because, your skin is your biggest organ, and it absorbs a lot of what you put on it. So that's really when I started getting into skincare, in the sense of, right, what is this I'm putting on my body? Is it going to do any damage? Um, and then with the IVF, it worked for 3 months, the first round, but unfortunately I miscarried. And the acne, the hormonal acne that it gave me was so excruciatingly painful, mentally and physically, because it does affect your confidence as well, you know.
Mhm.
Um, I needed to find a way to, one, just to keep my mind off what's going on. You know, obviously I was
Mm.
grieving a loss of my baby. And two, I thought, well, I need to get myself out there again, you know, go and socialize. But I really didn't want to with this terrible acne. Went to the doctors, and they actually prescribed me some tablets. It was that bad. One of the side effects said could cause infertility.
Ugh.
Mm. So I obviously didn't take them. And then it came about, I was given the opportunity to try IVF a second time, a frozen transfer. So after a few months, I thought, right, you know what, I'm ready. Let's go again. And at that point, I realized that the doctors aren't going to help me with my skin issue. You know, I lost all confidence in the system. Um, and I was fully expecting that the acne would not go, you know, unless perhaps I did get properly pregnant, you know, the full term, and then maybe afterwards I can worry about my skin. Anyway, second round of IVF, um, all the focus was on that, you know. I didn't care about my skin or anything. And then that unfortunately resulted in another miscarriage. And I think then the hormones, and not many people talk about this, really start to affect your mental health,
Mhm.
where you start thinking things you've never thought before, you know, like, thank goodness, touch wood, I've never experienced mental health issues. Um, but I remember after the second miscarriage, I was in the bath, and it was the first and hopefully last time I had a suicidal thought. And I thought, you know what, if I just go now, I won't let down anyone else anymore, because you do feel like a failure as a woman. You can't give your husband or your partner the most natural thing in the world, you know, and you feel like you've let down your parents and your siblings. Obviously, I look back now and I think that's absolutely ridiculous, but you know, you can't help but think these
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
And also the envy, I wouldn't quite say it was jealousy. I'd say the envy of seeing
Mm.
other people pregnant. And I remember the second miscarriage, I had to have an operation to remove it. And as I went outside of the ladies' hospital, there were pregnant women smoking outside. And it took everything in my power not to, you know, say
Yeah.
anything. I thought, just mind your
Yeah.
business, Sean, and walk on. Anyway, going back to the bath incident, and this is a bit where I think I found a bit of spirituality, because I am an atheist and I'm a scientist at heart, you know. So a lot of people say, well, you can't be spiritual and a scientist at the same time. But you can
Yeah.
merge
Yeah.
nature and science to make something absolutely magical. Going off on a tangent slightly, I'll come back to that. Ooh. But yeah, that feeling of being in the bath thinking I just want to end it all. And it makes me quite emotional thinking of that point. I've sort of almost accepted everything else that's happened in my life, but that one point is the most scariest point, you know. And I was listening to my playlist, and Queen, The Show Must Go On came on.
Wow.
And that is when I thought, all right, Freddie, I'm listening.
Oh, I got
Amazing. Oh, I'm
goosebumps.
listening, Fred. Um, so I got out of the bath, and this is going to sound ridiculous, but I looked in the mirror, and obviously my skin was still really flaring. And I thought, right, I'm not shallow or vain, but I did know it was affecting my confidence. And I thought, once
Mhm.
I get out there and see my friends and family, I'll start feeling myself again. And that's the point I decided I'm sorting out my skin and I'm not relying on anyone else. I'm going to do it myself.
Love that.
And then next to me was a pot of Sudocreme out of everything. And that made me think, right, let me look at the ingredients of this. And then as I researched, I was thinking, I learned all about endocrine disruptors. I learned about the petrochemicals. I learned about the microplastics. And I thought, why don't I try and create a cream like Sudocreme, but a natural organic version that I would be happy to put on my skin or a baby's skin. And that is where I got the inspiration for the intensive skin recovery cream.
Wow.
That's incredible, isn't it? Because it's just a perfect example of how when you can be at your lowest point, you know, everything can change in that instant. They can be the catalysts for your next step forward, your growth, and for something like amazing to come into your life.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. If you would have told me that at the time, I'd been like, no, don't say that. Or things like, oh, it just wasn't meant to be, like that's the worst thing someone could tell you when you've just lost 2 babies.
Yeah.
But now I sort of realize, it's like, I guess going back to spirituality slightly is I've sort of learned recently that I think the 2 most important days of your life are when you were born and then when you realize why you were born. And I truly feel that I found a purpose, like I'm helping hundreds of babies, especially, which is the best bit, with their nappy rash, And I remember when I know I've skipped quite a bit in the story here, but it's relevant. I remember once I had formulated the intensive skin recovery cream at the time in the kitchen, which really annoyed my husband because I made such a mess. That's why he built me this lab. So I've got my own lab outside, so he never sees me. So he's happy about that. Good investment from him. One of my best friends at the time, she had just had a baby, and she really sort of sheepishly asked me, Sham, what are you using on your skin? It looks so good. And I sort of explained, I've been making this in the kitchen. And she said, can I try it on my baby's nappy rash? Because nothing is helping it and the doctors aren't helping. And I was like, oh Christ, like I haven't got this tested for safety, nothing, it's literally something I obviously did a lot of research. I got diplomas online and stuff like that. So I knew it was safe. Anyway, she tried it and overnight, Tash and Becky, it had cleared it up. Yeah. Wow. And she showed me like the before and afters. And that's when the pressure came because all my friends and family wanted to try it then for their psoriasis, their eczema. And that's when I thought, these ingredients are very expensive, they're all organic, certified Cosmos organic. So I thought, I better make a business. How the bloody hell do I do a business? So it was a very steep learning curve because I've always been sort of employed, and then after sort of a year of perfecting it, getting it tested by Oxford Biosciences for safety, Cosmos Organic certified, Vegan Society certified, and Leaping Bunny certified. Obviously all the boring stuff like trademarks and websites, I got all that done. And then we decided to invest our 3rd round of IVF savings into the business and build this lab. So OBS really is my baby. Because obviously we'd made a decision. Do we keep going with IVF or do we put it into this business? And I think I've made the right decision. I feel like I've lost my babies to help other people's babies.
Oh, Sian.
I mean, that's almost like the universe just took hold of it and just went, you haven't got a choice.
Yeah.
You've got to do this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
And that's amazing. Like, I'm getting emotional.
I know, don't.
I think this is the first time a guest has made us cry.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, I love it. because you mentioned earlier, like you feel like you found your soul purpose, and it's so funny because just before we came on, like spoke to you, I said to you, didn't I? I was like, I really want to ask Sian, does she feel like she's found her soul's purpose? And you literally said it, and I just think it's so incredible because I feel like I found mine, and I feel so lucky and so grateful every day to have found it. And I love it when I see other people working in their soul purpose, and that's why I do what I do, because I want to help people step into their like soul's purpose and their gifts, because I just think it's incredible. We're all here for a reason, and I think that is amazing that you can, say that your business is your baby, because obviously there's so much emotional attachment to that, and sadness as well, like from that. And how brave for you to be able to do that, but also how wonderful. I just think it's amazing.
Oh, thanks. That really does mean a lot. And I think you're brilliant what you're doing as well. And I
Oh,
wish I would
thank
have
you.
known you when I started this sort of process. I think it would have helped me a lot with sort of getting me on the right path. But
Mm.
I found you both now. So
Yay, perfect time, divine timing. It's all perfect
exactly.
timing.
Exactly.
um okay, so you said you cut out a bit of your journey there. So from it was did anything happen in between, kind of like when you decided you were going to create that cream, to in between when you were doing it, or does it carry on from there?
Well, so going back to when I was looking at the back of the ingredients of Sudocrem,
Mhm.
that's when I started just Googling things, and it was giving me all sorts of conflicting information. As different studies conflicting, what's dangerous, what's not, what's greenwashing, what's not. So I thought, right, I'm going to go back to education. So I'm dyslexic. I was actually diagnosed with dyslexia at university in my master's in psychological research methods of all things.
Brilliant.
But that, I mean, to be fair, it did put up a barrier at the time because I had a scholarship for doing a PhD in Wales, and I was sort of on the fence about it. And then when they said, right, we're going to assess you for dyslexia because it's very obvious you've got it, Sian. And I was like, no, I bloody haven't. No, I haven't. Put in my leg. And I thought, oh, if I get a free laptop out of it, then yeah, great. And I didn't get the bloody free laptop. Christ. But anyway, I thought, right, well, that just answers my question. Then I can't do a PhD if I've got dyslexia. So no, and I turned that down, which looking back, I'm kind of pleased I did because that really wasn't my passion anyway. To be fair, I only
Mm.
studied psychology at uni because I thought it was the only way I'd meet Michael Jackson. I know it's ridiculous. Oh, massive Michael Jackson fan, but I've got no talents in like singing or dance or anything like that. I was like, how can I meet Michael? I know, I'll be a psychologist and I go and help him out. And then he bloody died when I was in my first year of uni. I was like, oh Christ, what a wait.
That's brilliant.
Oh, that's it.
Oh.
Anyway, so going back to the Sudocrem, I thought to myself, right, let's use my dyslexia as a superpower. Yeah, let's not see it as a barrier. Look at the good things, the things that I can look at the bigger picture. I ask why, and that I can, and as you say, like on my socials before we start recording, I like to sort of educate as many people as I can on the ingredients in common skincare products and if I like
Mm.
them or not, not everyone has to agree. And obviously I do use science backed information. It's not just plucking out the air, but I get a lot of that from when I decided to do some diplomas because COVID had just hit at this point as well. So I was working from home. So I had a lot more time on my hands, not that my boss knew that, but so I did a lot of online courses and I just found it just so interesting. And I thought, right, now I'm equipped with the information and the knowledge. Let's just buy a few ingredients. Let's just see what happens. And with dyslexia, you like to be hands-on. I don't want to read from a recipe book. Ask
Mm.
my husband when I try and cook, like, yeah, sometimes it doesn't go great. Um, but I just thought, right, let's get hands-on. Let's feel it. Let's put it on my skin. How does it feel? And actually, after a lot of mistakes, the intensive skin recovery cream, which I used to call Sian's healing cream, was actually born from an accident. It was an accident. It was a happy accident. So I did read my notes wrong, and I put the ratio of zinc oxide and organic safflower oil in wrong. But I didn't realise it at the time. And I was like, oh, this is bloody great. This is perfect. This is really good. And then I looked at how much zinc oxide I had left. I was like, oh, balls, I've put too much in. So I literally went against the whole textbook, everything everyone told me. I went against it and it worked. So that's sort of filling in that gap, if you like. And then when I got that and I sent it out to a load of friends and family, and like I say, to the lab, got it all tested. Then when it was time to launch OBS, I sold out overnight. I couldn't believe it. Honestly, it was like, what is going on here? And yeah, and it was going great, really good for 6 months. I was still employed at this point. So I was going to the delivery office in the morning, coming home and at lunch, because we were back in the office, coming home and at lunch, making a quick batch, and then, packing orders at night.
Wow.
Going really, really well. And then about 6 months in, I got a shock diagnosis of cervical cancer.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And it was, right, now, this gives me goosebumps every time I think about it. So I've never had a bad smear in my life. Always go to every single appointment. Never had any symptoms. Got the letter through to say you're due one. So I booked it. I got there. The doctor said to me, oh, Sian, you've been sent this in error 6 months too early. Come back in 6 months. And I was like, I've taken I've taken the afternoon off now. And you work yourself up, don't you? I mean,
Yeah.
I know it's not painful and it's really easy experience, but it's not something you want to do every day.
No,
No.
it's not something you look forward to, is it?
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, and so I said, can you just get it done now? She's like, okay. And thank God I did, because a week later, I got a call to say we found stuff, we found something. So you need to come in for a colposcopy, where they go in, and if any of your listeners need one, it sounds scary, but I promise you it isn't. So it's basically like a smear, but they kind of put a camera there, very small, to have a look. And then if they need to, they will burn out a little bit of your cervix for a biopsy. Now with that, I know it sounds horrific, but what they do is they do inject your cervix with what is it? Is it local anesthetic?
Local anaesthetic, yeah.
That's it. And it's got adrenaline in it, so your legs will shake and you might start talking a load of rubbish, a bit like what I'm doing now. But it's fine. It's fine, Anyway, and then with the biopsy, they called me in, and this was on the 22nd of December, so just before Christmas. Called me and said, yeah, you've got cancer. We need to do an MRI. We need to do a LETS procedure. And do you know what? It's a complete blur. I literally found the other day, when I was clearing out the storage on my phone, a video that I took of myself when I got home, just basically saying, well, this is the start of my cancer journey. But I think I was in shock, like, no symptoms.
Yeah,
Nothing,
no, crazy.
And anyway, so bloody caught COVID that day as well, it turned out. So I had to have
wow.
I had Christmas alone with COVID and bloody cancer. It was the
Sure.
I know, right?
No.
But anyway, start of January, I had a LETS procedure. So again, if any of your listeners need one of these, it's not anything to be scared of. You are sort of sedated for it. And you don't feel anything. You know what I mean? It's fine. And again, that's just like taking out the cancerous cells. And then I was given the all clear after a few months. Luckily, the MRI showed that it didn't spread, even though they said it was quite aggressive. And if I'd have left my smear any longer, it could have spread.
Oh my
So
gosh.
that person who made the mistake in NHS may have saved my life, or at least
Wow.
saved me the
Oh,
aggro of bloody radio and chemotherapy. You know, I count my lucky
Yeah.
stars every day
Yeah.
I didn't need to do that, because
mm,
just goes to show how important it is to go to your smear when it's due. You can't put it off. It needs to be at the top of your list. 'Cause if,
Yeah.
say if they didn't make this mistake, and I went 6 months later, and then I was like, "Oh, you know what? I'll go in a few months." You know, I got a few,
Mm,
it could have spread, and who knows? So it
yeah.
just and like I say, no symptoms, none.
no.
So it just goes to show you really have to go to your cervical screening.
So important, isn't it? And you're right. We do kind of, we're like, oh no. We all
Yeah.
know that it's doesn't take any time at all. Like you said, it doesn't hurt. It's not the best thing in the world, but it's really not the worst thing either, is it? And it's just that perfect example. It's so important, isn't it? It's really important.
Most
But
definitely.
how lucky
Oh,
are you? And someone was
so,
looking out for you
someone
there.
they need you
Yeah.
here.
Mm-hmm.
You're doing all these amazing things. It's no wonder, is it?
Yeah, that's crazy.
Isn't it?
Love stories like that.
I your guardian angel
Mhm.
I
did
think
that.
yeah, someone's looking after me, that's for sure.
Yeah,
I also
yeah.
think it's your mindset. You know, you could play the victim almost, or feel. Don't get me wrong, I bloody felt sorry for myself for a while,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and to get me through
Really.
sort of all the um that cancer scare, I was prescribed like sedatives, daily sedatives, just
Mm.
to so I could forget about it all. So people say I
Yeah.
was brave. I was not brave. I just drugged myself the whole time, so I didn't know what was going on. So I wasn't brave. But that gave me a right kick up the bum, and I thought, right, I'm gonna give up my job and I'm gonna do OBS full time, because it made me so happy, so fulfilled. When I got those 5-star reviews, that the sound on my notifications is louder than the Shopify ka-ching sound, because when I get those reviews, it's just like someone's going,
Yeah.
"Oh, isn't your baby beautiful?" Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh.
And I remember
Yeah.
once I got one-star review. I was fuming, but it's fine, you know. Whatever.
Can't please everyone, can we?
No, whatever. But I was thinking, "You calling my baby ugly? That's me."
You make such a good point, Sean, because it is, and obviously this is what we talk about as such on the show all the time,
Yeah.
isn't it? It is about mindset, and it is about choosing whether you
Mm.
want to stay in that victim mindset, because like you said, it's normal for you to feel sorry for yourself and have all those feelings. It's not normal, it's
Yeah.
necessary. You
Yeah.
have to, you can't ignore them, because then that doesn't lead to a very good place either, does it? But it's then your choice is to think, right, okay, well, I've been here, I've felt these feelings. Now, what do I choose to do? Because I can go either way. I can see this either way. And clearly, you did the positive thing, didn't you? Because we wanted to ask, what did that kind of the cancer scare give you? But you've just answered it. Like, it literally made you step into your purpose, didn't it? It pushed you
Yeah.
out of that, all these things all these beliefs, all these fears
Mm.
that we have that actually stop us from progressing and doing the thing that's going to give us the
Mm.
most joy. And it's just like, you hear so many stories, don't you, where people have these kind of scares, or something happens which actually just goes, go on,
Yeah.
like, do it, and it pushes you.
Like a
But
switch, I would imagine. Just your
yeah,
perspective. Just
but ideally, we don't want to have these things
no.
happen for us to kind of step out there and actually face our fears, and have the courage to do it, which is why I love working with the subconscious mind and doing all the kind of limiting belief stuff, because like you've seen, just having that oomph to go out there and do it has led to all of this, which is awesome.
No, you're right. And it's about just trusting yourself. I don't know, people say a lot, trust in the universe, trust in the process, but sometimes when you're in the depths of despair, it feels like there's no hope. And I think sometimes and it must be really difficult for your job as well, to try and convince people that, it will get better. It will,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
I always kind of say to any friends or anything that sort of approach me and ask how I sort of got out of that hole, sort of thing. And I just thought, especially when I did have that horrible suicidal thought, keep thinking to myself, that is a permanent solution to a temporary problem. You know what I'm
Yeah. Wow.
saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like I say, thank God I've never had those thoughts, before. But I always think everything is so temporary, isn't it?
Mm. Mm.
You know?
Yes. And like you said, when you're in it, it's so hard to see that because it does feel all consuming and it feels like it's going to swallow you up. But it is, like you said, it is always, we always get out of it. If you're still alive right now, you've had things happen to you and you've always got out of them. And I think that, and I wanted to ask you this actually, now you've done that. Now you've had a very obvious experience where you've been kind of in the depths of fear and kind of like, well, what am I going to do? And you got yourself out of it. Do you often, when you hit another obstacle, do you often find yourself going back to that moment and thinking, well, I did that then, so I know I can do it again now? Does that help you?
It does. And it makes me more confident in my own abilities to look at the bigger picture, and sort of step away from the situation, look at it from an outside perspective, if you like, and think, and put it into perspective. And you're right. Definitely, sometimes I do revisit that moment, and I think, Christ, imagine if I had gone through with that thought. Like all of these poor kids would be running around with nappy rash. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but yeah, and I do look a bit when I say about an accidental entrepreneur, I still don't know what the bloody hell I'm doing when it comes to business. I really don't, but I've got the confidence to ask people for help. I'm great at skincare formulation, but when it comes to sort of marketing or all the other boring things that come with business, I kind of like, but then I trust myself to not wear all the hats, and sort of delegate. So, I'll say to my accountant, can you please deal with that? And I think it's about trusting your own abilities and knowing what you're good at and what you're not good at, or what you like doing and what you don't like doing, and just try and delegate it as much as you can.
Because it's a shame, isn't it, that sometimes people have like these amazing creative ideas, but the business part of it, like you said, Sian, just stop chewing your tracks and you're never going to do it. So to just trust, like you said, it's that word again, isn't it? That comes up a lot.
Yeah.
Just to trust
Yeah.
in your own abilities and go forward from there. And as your story shows, it's all
Slots
working
in.
for you,
Yeah,
wasn't it?
yeah.
You found your way.
Yeah.
You didn't let that put you off.
You're right.
Yeah, I think, and like when we, the people that we've spoken to, entrepreneurs, business wise, there's the definite pattern here, and it's that the people that are successful are no different to anybody else who's got their own skills and abilities, but you guys are the ones that have said, I'm gonna do it anyway. I don't know how, but I'm gonna do it, and I'm gonna trust the process. And there's so many like similarities here, and it's the kind of, and I always see it from the belief kind of perspective. And this is why I love working with people with these beliefs. It's like you said, so important, the ultimate belief in yourself. Because yes, of course, it's great to trust the universe and trust the process, and that's a factor, but the most important thing is you trust yourself. And I think particularly for women as well, women entrepreneurs or women who want to kind of be in business but are scared, it's this whole asking for help, because women have a real problem, but we're asking for help because if we've been conditioned to be the carers and we're the ones that help and we do the things, and we block ourselves from receiving and asking for help. But it is the most important thing. When you can ask for help, so many things open up to you, don't they? And you've made so many good points. There's so many, and this is all the work that I do with my women, like to help them. And the third one was, now I've lost my train of thought because I'm getting excited. I've got it. I knew it was going to come back. It's following your joy, following what you want to do, and knowing what you're good at and what you're not good at. And that is so important as well, because I feel like that links in with, obviously the entrepreneurial business side, but also that spiritual side, if we look at it from that kind of bigger perspective as well, if you're following, I believe, if you're following what brings you joy, if you're following like what you're truly good at, you're doing your soul's purpose, you're in your soul's purpose, and then it's always going to work out well for you. Like, look at Sian, everything's kind of worked out for her because she's following her soul's purpose, she's listening to her intuition, she's trusting, you know, what she's good at and what lights her up, even though it was scary, because you had the job, you had the security, and you were still like, nope, I have to follow what brings me joy. And I love hearing when people say that, because I'm like, they're doing their soul's purpose, and that means we're all going to benefit from it, whether it's babies' bums, like people, you know, women who need to have more self-belief, like whatever, like we're all going to benefit when people are working their soul's purpose. And I just love that. So yeah, that's so aligned with the work that I do. I love that you've brought that all into your like mindset, into your life to create what you've created. It's amazing.
Yeah. I mean, from an energy perspective as well, isn't it? We're lucky we've got Sian living in our local area. We're going to feel this energy.
Yeah, love it.
Coming out to
I'm going to have good skin, because I need to find out about this cream.
Oh, you both got beautiful skin. You don't need OBS. You got lovely skin.
We could have better though if we used OBS.
Exactly.
I honestly think, you know, going back to spiritual thing, I think when you do trust yourself and, you know, like universe, that kind of thing, depending on what you're into, you can look at things as signs as well that you're on the right path. So you know, I said I was diagnosed with cancer on the 22nd of December. A year later, on the 22nd of December, I went live on Superdrug.
Oh, wow.
At 11 a.m, which was the same time my appointment was.
No
way.
Yeah. So
And
I
it's
saw that as a
a
sign.
number as well.
Yeah.
And it is, you hear that so often, don't you? Like there's,
Amazing.
and I've
Yeah.
experienced that, where there's been really significant dates and then something else has happened, like, and like you said, it's, you can see it however you want it. You can say it's a coincidence and that's fine, or you can choose to see it as a sign and let that propel you forward, let that excite you, and let that like push you to do more.
Yeah,
because
why not? You know,
right,
it's not hurting
exactly.
anyone, you know, and I just see it as a little nod from something to be like, hey, Sian, see, told you it'd be all right.
Exactly.
It might be Freddie, you don't know.
They can be both with it. I don't know.
Michael's with you now. He's helping you. You thought you were helping him. He's helping you. But I just, this is what I love. Like, I love having these conversations because you can laugh and it's fun. Like, it doesn't have to be serious and you don't have to believe. It doesn't matter. But I always say, like, it's your choice, and does it make you feel better? Does it help you? Does it propel you forward, or does it hinder you? Because if it hinders you, absolutely don't do it. But in my experience, whenever I do it, it's only a good thing. But I think this is I didn't know we were going to go down this route, but I think this is a really exciting conversation to have, because like you said, you're a scientist and an atheist, but can there be both? And yes, and you know, like I was an atheist, I was a scientist, I went to med school, I was like science, and then I had a big 180, one of these big things that happens where you get knocked on the head, when I lost my mum, and that just like switched everything for me, and so I kind of went down the spiritual route. But as I was going down, and when I first got into spirituality, like Bex knows, everything that I kind of delve into in the spiritual world, I was like, right, now I'm going to go and find scientific evidence to back this up. And I'm telling you, Sian, every time without fail, I would find something scientific that proved that exact thing. People just don't want to talk about it, or they don't connect the two because they think they're separate. But the more I dove into it, the more I was like, these are the same things. That, in a way, science hasn't quite caught up to the concepts that people in the spiritual world talk about. And I just find it, the more I kind of went down that route, the more I found, well, it can be both and it should be both, but we have kind of made science God, and we won't, like, if that doesn't prove it, or if that can't explain it, then everything's not real. And I think there just needs to be a balance where we can at least be open to say, well, maybe science hasn't quite caught up to it yet, but it doesn't mean that it's not the truth. And I just think it's really interesting hearing you say that, because like you said, you're a scientist, but you're still talking about signs from the universe, and I think that's great.
Yeah, I think it's so easy for society to make extremes of one or the other. So I thought I find a sort of my customer base, if you like, um, are sort of a mix of the two. So some of them are like militant vegans, like really, into that. And then some are the absolute opposite. Um, and then you have people who assume, I guess, spiritual people are into fairies and they carry crystals and, they don't know anything about science and they're all hippie in the air. And I hate that stereotype. I hate that stereotype because the minute I sort of mention anything about that I've got a crystal in my pillowcase, people might start doubting my scientific knowledge. Do you see what I
Yeah,
mean? And then vice
yeah.
versa. If I'm talking too much from a science perspective, the sort of, I don't know, conspiracy theorists, maybe I'm one because
Mhm.
I've lost all faith in the system since they gave me those
Yeah.
bloody tablets.
Mhm.
So it's just that meeting in the middle. And I truly think that ObSkincare is that perfect mix of using science to abstract the best bits out of nature. So everything's 100% natural, but very carefully chosen for their effects, and their efficacy. So it's
Yeah.
not all in beige cardboard packaging, and it's with nothing with scientific backing. Every ingredient is in there for a purpose because science has said this helps with this. Not, you know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
it's getting that bit where stepping away from the stereotype of being a housewife in the kitchen whipping up something and putting it in a beige container to actually
Mhm.
no, could almost be classed. Well, in America with the FDA, they would class it as a drug, especially the intensive skin recovery cream,
Right.
because it's a topical sort of treatment for bad skin. Um, so yeah, it's really for me trying to get the best of nature with the science behind it. And a lot, like I say, a lot of my sort of customer base are in that sort of bit in the middle where they want to go really natural and organic.
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Need the bit of science. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah, because you get so many people, big brands, greenwashing. And I'm always calling them out. And I've been almost sued a couple of times by the big brands. But what I'm not doing is saying, don't buy this, buy mine instead. What I'm saying is, this is why I don't use any of these ingredients. And this is why, it's just a cheap filler.
Mhm.
They're, I know I know it's conspiracy theorists, but like big pharma try and keep you ill.
You're
No,
safe to
yeah,
talk about this stuff here. Don't worry about
believe
it.
that.
It's just like there's a well-known anti-dandruff shampoo company that I know
Mm,
put an ingredient in there that
no.
gives you dandruff.
It gives you dandruff, exactly
Mm.
It
that, yeah,
keeps you coming back,
yeah,
and it's like, but
so wrong, isn't it?
yeah, with the small guys like us, we've got no chance against the big boys and girls. But
Mm,
literally until they physically shut me up, I will keep sort of exposing them, but
mm,
subtly, be like, well, no, I'm not
Yeah.
just saying don't buy them because they're
Mm.
rubbish. This
mm,
Yeah.
is what they're using. You
mm,
make up your own decision. Make up your own
Yeah.
mind if you like this ingredient or not.
And I love that, because that's coming
yeah,
from a place of empowering the individual. And that's what I'm like all about with everything I do.
mm,
That's what this podcast for us is about, isn't it? It's not about fear or telling people, oh my God, this is what's happening. You must do this. It's like, no,
mm,
just open up your awareness
yeah,
here. We're just going to put this out there. Have a little listen, see what you think, but you
mm,
make your own choice. And whatever you choose is right for you. You got to do what's right for you. Instead of this, yeah, don't use this because this is
mm,
going to kill you. Use
yeah,
mine because mine's the best.
yeah,
Like, no. And also, as a consumer, I'm not interested then. You start doing that, I don't want to
no,
hear
no,
it.
you don't buy into it, do
No.
No, you
you?
switch off with the scaremongering, don't you?
You
Oh,
do,
Mhm.
here we go. I've heard
Mhm.
this before. But
yeah,
Yeah.
what is it? If you give them teach them to fish, what's that saying?
Yeah. Give them Give him a fishing net for a day. Give him a fishing rope. Not quite, is it? But, you know.
I know what you mean. I know what you mean. But you know, I had this massive argument. There's this app, and I will say their name because I'm still in the arguments with them, called Yucca. And I used to really push them on my followers and say, these are brilliant. You know, you just scan something and it tells you if it's good or bad. Since then, unfortunately, I found out that they are not as independent as we like to think, put it that way. And they've got a lot of things wrong, and they're promoting the big boys and girls over the little ones, when in fact the ones that they're promoting are full of rubbish. So now I'm saying, no, don't. What I'll do instead, I'll give you the top 5-10 ingredients to look out for. If you see that on the label, look further, you know, red flag. Yeah, and then also what the good things are. So I also on my socials talk about popular skincare products that are good and why I think they are good, you know, and I don't see it as competition. It's collab, you know, you compete at the bottom, you collab at the top. And I always think, you know, and I'm always calling out my fellow organic skincare brands and saying, oh, brilliant, look at this. This is brilliant, you know, and giving it where credit's due. So, and because of that, the Soul Association approached me last year to be one of their ambassadors, which has been so
That's
cool.
amazing.
Yeah, so you know, it's getting that balance. It's letting people know, you know, this is what you can look out for, good and bad, and you can make your own decision. Any questions, let me know.
Yeah, I love that, Sian, because I feel like, and we've had conversations with people about this, haven't we? And ourselves, it gets a bit overwhelming right now, doesn't it? Because there's so much information about there, and like we said, a lot of it is like the fear mongering and stuff, but a lot of it is the truth, and even the truth is scary and overwhelming because you're like, I actually don't know what I can put on my body or in my body anymore. I'm so confused and so scared, and you can end up, you know, kind of just getting yourself in a bit of a mess because you're coming from fear, aren't you? So I think that it's helpful just to, I've said this before, just take what resonates with you, do it one at a time. Don't try and overhaul your whole life and like you just do it bit by bit. So, you know, take your washing powder and have a look at that and sort that first. And then, you know, then take your skincare and sort that out. Like whatever, again, going with what feels most important to you first. Because I've definitely felt like that. I think it started with me with my water. I was like, right, I need to get some kind of like water filter so I can at least be drinking clean water. I feel like that's kind of important to me. So I did that first. And then I kind of moved on to the next thing. And the next thing, my next thing is going to be skincare. By the way, that's my next thing. And but I guess what, like all of that being said, is that I think there is a lot of overwhelm out there, and it's really refreshing when you hear people like you who want to clearly in your purpose and doing what you love anyway. Because like I said before, I truly believe that if you're doing that, you're going to be doing a good job, and only good things are going to come from that for you and for the people that are having whatever service or product you offer. And yeah, too, I've lost what I was saying.
I just feel like it's so important to what was she saying?
What are you on today?
I just think we should all come back to, like, I was thinking of community when Sian was talking again, and I was like, it's bringing it back to that smaller, taking it away from the big pharma and the big commercials and coming back to who's in your local area, who's got the real information, who's got the empowerment, like you, Sian, you're empowering everybody to make their own minds up. And I just think that's where we need to be going, isn't it? Forget all of this, you know, big, they're all taking the mick out of us, aren't they? We as the people need to take back the power and come back to what's important and the message. Like, you know, we talk about energy a lot on this program, Sian, and I'm just thinking of the energy that you put on everything that you do, just with your message and your ingredients, all of it,
and the love that you're like making, like your energy, like the love for your baby is in your skincare.
And
feel that.
I know,
it's amazing.
And do you do just the skincare, Sian, or do you do like makeup, hair care? Are you thinking of doing that?
That's a very good question. I do get asked that quite a lot, especially with the makeup bit, but I have absolutely no background in beauty. I'm a tomboy. I used to be the only girl in the Saints team when I was little. So I can hardly do makeup myself. So answer your question, I'd love to be able to branch out into clean makeup, if you like, but it's not my expertise and it's not my passion. So I'd probably
Right.
have to delegate that. I'd tell them this is the guidelines. It must be this,
Yeah.
this, and this, and go for it. Hair care, though, that is a very good point. I do have, so one of my old employees, Madison, she was my apprentice for a little while. In her early 20s, she got diagnosed with a brain tumor. She's okay now. It's always going to be there. She's had surgery and everything, but obviously it meant she had to stop working. And but in her recovery, I thought to keep her mind active, I brought her one of the diplomas I did online for organic skincare. And she bloody did so well. I think she scored up better than I did. Yeah. Anyway, and then out of that, she had the idea of a scalp oil that helps her because obviously she had all the cancer treatment, help her hair grow back, but also to help her scar and also like sort of to help just with the healing process. So we got the organic scalp oil. And that has done really well. And you'll never guess who one of the biggest fans of it is. Only Tracy Beaker, Danny Harmer herself.
Oh my god!
She's been on
That's the one with all the hair, isn't it? All the curls.
Yeah.
she's a massive OBS customer now, and she always talks about me on her socials. And she's been using the scalp oil because she's perimenopausal, so she's losing some of her hair. And she says that it helps it actually grow back thicker. Now, don't get me wrong, if I could find a cure for bald middle-aged men, I'd be a billionaire and I wouldn't be talking to you right now. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yes, to Madison is that there's no such thing as making your hair grow back once it's gone. However, if it is going to come back eventually, because after chemo or alopecia or something like that, and there's a chance it will come back. The natural ingredients in here have got scientific backup for its efficacy for helping it grow back and stimulate it thicker and healthier. So it seems to be working well. But that's the only sort of hair care at the moment. I'm looking into shampoos. That's a whole nother story because shampoo bars to get organic, you can't. Basically, it has to be liquid for all different reasons that I won't bore you with today. We'll do it at some point. But yeah, that's definitely down the line. I mean, I've also got OBS at home, which is basically the little brother of ObSkincare that I neglect quite a lot. Like someone would probably call child services or social services, somebody, the actual child. But it's basically like eco luxury things like the candles, like coconut and rapeseed, not soy wax, essential oils, not fragrance, no paraffin, obviously, organic cotton wicks. And it's that sort of thing, like the organic towels, just things that I use on a day-to-day basis that I thought, oh, my customers might like this. But making candles in wax melts is not my passion. I admire anyone that does because it's boring. For me anyway. So yeah, it's just one of those things that if I feel like it, if I've got time, I'll make some and put it on the website. But again, that's something I could probably delegate to someone in the future.
Yeah. That's amazing. John, it's been an absolute joy speaking to you today. It's been amazing, hasn't it?
It has.
Can you... Sorry, go on.
No, I was just gonna say we need to get onto this OBS. We
Yeah.
need some
Well,
in our lives
I definitely
right now.
do. So that's what I was just going to say.
Yeah.
Sian, can you tell everybody? Obviously, we'll put your details in the show notes as well. But can you tell everyone where they can find you and your products, please?
Yes. So you go online, OBS, OBVS, which stands for Organic, Biodegradable, Vegan, Sustainable, by the way. Oh no, I said that at the start, didn't I?
You did, but we need reminding all the time.
So it's obs-skincare.co.uk, or you can find me on Insta or TikTok at ObSkincare.
Yeah, find her on Instagram. She's hilarious. I love watching your Instagram. You make me laugh all the time.
Smashing, Becky, you are brilliant. And you know what I'll do? I just had an idea. I might put a discount code in just for your listeners. What do you want me to call it?
That's lovely,
That's really
isn't
nice.
it?
Why don't you do bye-bye, BYBY, like be your best you. Bye-bye.
I
BYBY,
love
yeah.
that.
Yeah.
All right, yeah. Bye 15, and then your listeners can get a little discount on me.
Oh,
So
thank you
say a
so much.
thanks for listening to me bang on for almost an hour.
Stop. No,
Oh,
it's
they're
been
gonna love
they
it.
are honestly. I think
Fascinating.
our audience are going to love this. You're right up their street. And
Yeah.
but I wanted to ask before we go, of everything you've kind of your journey to get to where you are now. If there's people listening who are kind of thinking, "Oh my gosh, wow, like that's amazing. How have you done this?" Like what's your like one piece of advice that you would like to give to people listening to, I don't know, just to kind of maybe give them a little bit of encouragement if they're going through their own kind of journeys and they're stuck right in the middle of it, a bit like you were in the bath and, that kind of thing. What would you like to say to them after having been through all of this and got out the other side?
I think the main thing that comes into my mind each time I have an idea and I want to do something or get myself out of a hole or something is always, you will never ever feel ready. So do it anyway. You'll never feel ready. There will never be the perfect time. So you might as well just try it. And if your balls up, try again.
I love it's brilliant. But also if your balls up, you might come up with the intensive cream that you
There we go. That was the best balls up I've ever done.
We all need to balls up more. I think we do.
Oh,
That's what it
yes.
is. Oh, Sian, thank you so much. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Oh, I've really enjoyed it. Thank you for talking to me. I appreciate it.
All right, guys, that's it for another episode. We will see you next time. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.